You know, the relationship between rich internet applications and SOA, I think, is a very important one. If you look in terms of how people want to develop these rich internet applications, they're clearly looking in terms of an easy way to plug things together, right? To plug things together in a quick and easy way based on services. And the best way of actually doing RIA is certainly on the basis of services, simply because services tend to be encapsulated and loosely coupled from their implementation. So actually using them to build these rich internet applications is a great thing, because you can basically decouple user interface on the rich internet application side and implementation through the service mechanism, right? And don't need to have any tight coupling with the implementation, which makes it ideal. I think in general, SOA is ideal to be used for RIA, simply because of that loose coupling nature of web services and the idea of encapsulating the implementation from. Partially it is. You can develop Web 2.0 based applications on SOA. However, I would say that if you look at what Web 2.0 at the end of the day is all about, there's one specific thing that comes on top, and that's collaboration, right? You don't only want to have, presentation in a nice and shiny Ajax way, or that looks nice and that's easy to use, where people can drag and drop things together. But it's really also about collaboration and social networking. How do these different services interact with each other, so that, if I click on an address item in one box, I might actually want to see the Google Maps, kind of map entry on that same thing as well. So these services need to be able to interact in a well-defined way. For that to happen, I think there needs to be some context available in services, so that, when you do certain things on one part of the rich internet application in the Web 2.0 style portal, these other services should be able to interpret that. So context is a very important concept that you have to be aware of when you develop these services, that they are context aware and are able to actually grasp sort of what's going on around them. So is it enough to build secure Web 2.0 rich internet applications just on SOA, these type of technologies like Ajax and RIA already? See, I think in general it can be. You got to watch out when you sort of deliver that to your end users. One of the things that I think fundamentally people are looking at is that how these services in a Web 2.0 model embed into existing portals. Things like Facebook or iGoogle may be very important for people to leverage and to plug in their existing services from the intranet into these portal environments. And then it can become very tricky in terms of how do you secure that? How do you make sure that none of the information that's intranet goes out to the extranet, can be leveraged from there and analyzed from there? So creating a secure, rich internet application, a Web 2.0 application that can sort of collaborate with things that are out there on the internet actually requires a well thought out architecture with proxy technology that makes sure that none of the data passes out to the extranet, so that people can look at it and do stuff that you don't want. Well, in general, I think the idea of introducing SOA as a technology to basically modernize their existing IT landscapes and applications is a great thing, because if you want to use these services, these applications in a new world of Web 2.0, they need to be encapsulated. So introducing SOA is clearly the right way to go. Think about introducing technology that allows you to introduce collaboration as well, because I think it's very important for people to not only present a piece of service, a piece of data, a piece of logic as one single item on a piece of web screen, but also to be able to have context around them, for people to collaborate, for people to move these portlets or portals around from one another, to interact with each other. So clearly thinking about context in the sense of SOA is something that people have to think about when enabling these type of RIA applications. Really, I think businesses should care about Web 2.0 technology today, because it's going to be fundamentally important in the future for businesses to be able to get new employees on board quickly. If you look into how the projections look like in terms of how in 2010, 2015, what's going to be the average time an employee will be working at an organization, how much time will he have to basically build up his skills to work in that particular environment within a business, a given business. It's not very long. People think like it's going to be 1.5 years that people will actually stay in a particular job once they move on to a different environment. So for them to be able to leverage their existing skills, their existing perception as to how they want to use and want to work within a given environment is going to be critical. And businesses have to be aware of that and have to sort of organize their own infrastructure that people will use to work in a way that can happen, that they can quickly get into work, use what's there. And I'm not only talking about the standard things like email, but really in terms of collaboration, in terms of getting the job done, call center work, right? So is that different tools or are people at the end, using already technologies like Facebook or Google and are just, used to it, and whenever they come into a particular job, they would just want to use that kind of way with technology, that technology works. And I think for that purpose, it's going to be extremely important for organizations to be aware of it, to be able to, basically deliver their own business model into these technologies, so that whenever somebody comes in, he'll see, okay, I'm used to this kind of working with collaboration environments, with working with technology, and that they can just embed themselves into that way of work. And I think for that purpose, RIA and in particular, Web 2.0 technologies are extremely important. There's another important aspect as to why Web 2.0 is going to be very important to businesses, and clearly that's about the fact that when you look in terms of how businesses efficiently work, there's one part that's about processes. How do I structure my processes in a way so that an organization scales, so that I can structure the work around my people and my IT-based systems around processes. But there's also always this critical part about the nature of human beings that is all about collaboration, that is all about them knowing, okay, when I have a particular situation that I want clarification for, that I need, for example, approval to do something about, I know I'm going to call Janelle in a specific department. And for that to work efficiently, you need strong collaboration capabilities, and these collaboration capabilities ideally are embedded into their normal workflow of doing things. So it's the combination of driving an organization through processes and driving employees through processes that they're being orchestrated amongst the humans and the IT systems in the department, all being delivered through portal technology, through Web 2.0 technology, but then to enable them to collaborate as well, because the human beings and the human nature is an extremely important factor still in the efficiency gains in organizations today. So I think really the combination of the process-driven world of doing things in combination with collaboration and social networking at the end of the day, so that people feel they're not only embedded in technology, but they're embedded in a world where obviously humans exist, is extremely important for them to be able to quickly get the job done. I think it's really these two reasons that will have a big impact also moving forward as to why businesses will absolutely care about Web 2.0 technology.